All right. All right. Well, welcome to another one of our Monday night trainings. So excited we've been able to get really consistent with these. I really actually have been enjoying coming on here. I just want to start with, this group and these trainings are really for you guys. So, if there's ever topics that you want me to cover, like, please let me know. Sometimes I do put out polls like I did for this one, trying to get a sense of what would be helpful. Again, this is for you guys. Of course, I love sharing knowledge and what I know, but I want to make sure it's applicable to you guys and valuable. So, if you ever have a burning topic that like you really want me to get to, please let me know, because I'm happy to do that. Again, I want to make sure this is actually something helpful for you guys. So, this is one you guys voted on. So, 5 ways to increase your consistency. I don't think it's like any secret that we need to be consistent in order to hit our goals. That's not a mind blowing topic, I think, or, statement. We know that we need to be more consistent. And I'm really happy to see like that message kind of getting out there more and more. I see more coaches kind of talking about consistency and how that's what's so important. The problem is, I also don't think it's helpful to just be like, you need to be more consistent. Okay, what does that look like, right? Like, how do you actually do that? Because it can be a little bit like intangible. So I thought, okay, let's do a whole like training on this. Like, what are ways that we can actually be more consistent? Like, how do we increase that skill? Because I think we could say it's a skill, and it's something that we can learn. So there's a saying that I heard several years ago, and it kind of stuck with me. It's nothing mind blowing at all, but the saying was, "Success leaves clues." I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely. Right. And we know this. Again, that's not the mind-blowing part. We know that like successful people are doing a lot of the same things, and we can go to them and ask, like, hey, how did you get those results? And it doesn't mean that we do exactly what they're doing, but certainly there are clues, as to like why certain things are more successful and others are not. And so when we look at people who have either achieved like really big accomplishments, or have just done things, that maybe we haven't been able to do, then we want to look at their behaviors and, the things that they put in place, and try to use those for our own benefit. So 5 things that we see that successful people are doing who have been able to, hit their goals, whatever those may be, as well as keep those goals. Because I think that's what's really important, is that we keep the goals that we are trying to accomplish. So let's go through all 5 of these. I hope they're super helpful for you guys. So number 1, and this is one that I really struggled with, because I think it holds a lot of us back. And that's and it's really a mindset thing. So number 1, first thing we can do to increase our consistency is, off the bat, embrace failure. It's going to happen. Okay? Nobody's perfect, and nobody's doing anything perfectly. And I think that we just go into, certain processes, and we're like, I'm going to do everything exactly the way I'm supposed to. And then that's what's going to give me my results. And like the truth is, that's actually what's going to keep you from your results, because we are expecting this, we're expecting something that's like impossible, perfection. It doesn't exist. So we have to just take it off the table. And I think when you can just make this little shift to say, okay, instead of expecting myself to be perfect, and I accept and embrace the fact that I'm going to make mistakes, that I'm going to have setbacks, I'm going to fail at a few things. If we can like embrace that, it totally changes the game. It changes your reaction to your mistakes. It changes like how you then recover from that, right? And it doesn't put so much pressure on you, number 1, and to you having to like make an adjustment. And in fact, it's the only way we actually get better, right? So I was thinking, what's a great like example of this? It's kind of like, we all probably hopefully learned how to ride a bike. Not everybody I've learned knows how to ride a bike, but a lot of us did, right? Here's the thing. When you're learning how to ride a bike, you're going to fall off at some point. That's just a given. Like, nobody's getting on a bike and just smooth sailing. And here's the thing, when you do fall off, when you do crash, whatever happens, like you learn a whole lot in that moment. Like, okay, I need to like not lean so much into that turn, or I need to brake a lot less intensely, right? There's a whole bunch of learning that allows you to fine tune, and you do it over and over and you get better and better. And so I think that number one, right off the bat, if we can just embrace the fact that it's not going to go perfectly, and that's actually a part of the process, and in fact is going to help us fine tune our skills and whatever it is that we're doing, I mean, gosh, it's just going to set the trajectory and increase your success. I don't have a percentage, but I mean, certainly instead of having this all or nothing, where it's like the moment we fail, boom, it's over. It didn't work for me, right? Instead, we get to say, okay, that piece didn't work for me. What can I change in order to make this work? And we just use those actually as a learning opportunity. So number one, we just got to embrace failure. Understand it's going to happen, and actually it's going to benefit you in the long run. And I think that can be a huge reframe for most people, is understanding that these mistakes are actually going to benefit you in the long run. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, so, we just had New Year's. And so the thing is, everybody is just like super motivated that first week of January, right? I mean, there's funny memes out there where like you see pictures of like the gym in December versus January, and it's packed, right? And that's because motivation is super high. And the thing is that motivation's a liar. Motivation tricks us into thinking that we can just overhaul everything, right? I mean, we've all been there, like, okay, that first week of January, I'm going to start waking up early. I'm going to go to the gym, before work. I'm going to start drinking a gallon of water. I'm going to meal prep all my meals. I'm going to go to bed. No, you're not. You're like talking about this completely different person that you're not. And there's just no way that in one day you're just going to turn around and then be this new person. And so the second way to increase our consistency is to actually start small, is to like throw that overhaul thinking out the window and understand it's not going to happen. It's certainly not going to happen in a short period of time, right? Like, understand human nature. It's not you, you're not a failure. But the fact is, change is hard. We resist not failure, but like we resist something new on all levels. Like mentally we'll resist it, physically we'll resist, right? And so I think just understanding our own human nature, that like we just cannot do multiple things and think that that's going to be a lasting solution, right? And so instead, I always encourage my clients that we start really small. And a lot of times it's like one thing. And it always feels a little like that's it. And that's how it should feel. You should feel kind of underwhelmed, like that's all. And because then what we can do is build your confidence. And once we have your confidence, like, oh, I was able to actually take a 15-minute walk 5 out of 7 days. Let's do more. Great. Let's do more. Right. And then like we can go to like 20-minute walks and then 30-minute walks. And then all of a sudden, like you're just like racking in the steps, and it's just like part of who you are and like what you do. You've learned how to like incorporate it into your lifestyle. And then when I say, hey, can we start doing like 2 workouts a week? And you're like, yeah, totally. Like, and we have this base of like, you're already active in terms of like walking and moving and standing. And then when we start, adding on to that, like results start to like snowball, right? So start with one thing that you can do, and build your momentum from there, right? And like the thing is, like, I want people to get like really, really good at that one thing, because then they're like raring to go to add that next thing, right? And just understand that like over time, like you're going to get the results, right? And so I heard another good quote, and it was, we overestimate what we can do in a short amount of time, right? I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 3 months, but we underestimate what we can do in a long period of time, right? So I would much rather like you take your time and you get your results than like you go in thinking I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 3 months and it doesn't happen. And then you're defeated and then you just fall off. And then you're off to the new thing, right? I've heard people say, when it comes to stuff like this, like, would you rather, let's say, lose 50 pounds, or let's bring that back. Would you rather lose like 20 pounds in 6 weeks, but in a year, you will have gained all that weight back plus more, or take a year to lose that 20 pounds and keep it off forever? I mean, I just don't know anybody who's going to choose the first one, right? And so just understanding like we can do a lot in a long period of time. The shorter amount of time, really kind of have to like understand that it's not going to happen, because we cannot change ourselves fundamentally that fast. So that's two. Start small. Start really, really small. Get really, really good at that one thing. Build from there. I promise over time, you're just going to completely overhaul yourself, but in an actual sustainable, manageable way. Okay, that's the second one. Third thing, which is very much connected to the second thing, is you gotta like commit to the long game. Because again, human nature is that change is hard. It doesn't come easy to us. And we tend to be very, very impatient. The thing is, change takes time. And unfortunately, it takes a long time. And usually longer than we expect or even want. And so if we can go into something just understanding like, okay, well, it's probably going to take longer than 3 months or 6 months or whatever, the time frame is, we can let go of this process or the timeline itself, and even kind of the end results, and then just dive into the process, right? And allow ourselves to just kind of get lost in that and understand that it's in that process that change is actually happening, right? And so my mentors, I have business mentors, they love to tell me like, expand your timeline, Andrea. Like, just why does it have to happen in, let's say, X amount of time? What if it happens in this amount of time? Like, expand it. Like, there's no reason why you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, but it may take a little bit longer, right? And so that just comes down to patience. And so being patient and understanding that like the results are going to happen. We will get them. It's just a matter of time, right? I think that what ends up happening a lot of time is that people give up before the results happen, and then they blame that process. Well, that didn't work for me. It didn't work because you might not have had enough patience to see it through, right? And so unfortunately, we end up kind of cutting ourselves short by not allowing ourselves to just commit to the long game. Just be patient, delay gratification, understand change is going to take a while, and just one foot in front of the other. So be patient, results are coming. You just have to keep going. Okay, that's the third thing. Fourth, this is a tough one. Get out of your own way. A lot of times we're kind of the thing that is holding back our results. Here's the thing. Chances are you have tried to accomplish something in your life and failed at it. I mean, if you're human, I don't know anybody who hasn't like failed at something that they have attempted. Here's the thing. The fact that you failed is not the problem. That's not the issue. The issue is, why did you fail? Like, do you understand what the root problem was? What caused your failure there, right? And we could go back to some of the things we just already listed. Like, did you just have an all or nothing mindset, and the moment you failed, you gave up? Maybe that was the problem. Maybe you just tried to overhaul everything and you didn't start small enough. And so like your strategy just wasn't great. Maybe you were impatient, right? And that's the problem in terms of like getting to your result, right? So those could be certainly pieces of this getting out of your own way. But the other thing too is like we have a lot of like mental baggage sometimes around accomplishing things. We're complex beings. And so a lot of times we're the thing that's in the way, right? And so on this note, we kind of have to get a little bit introspective and kind of like get real with ourselves. Like, what's really holding me back? What excuses do I keep reverting to? What stories do I keep telling myself What self-limiting beliefs do I have? And sometimes we have to do a little inner work before we can actually, really get our results, because we're the thing that's in the way of those results. And this is, this could be as easy as, or not easy, but it could be as simple, I should say, as journaling and just allowing yourself to kind of wander in terms of like asking and being curious about your behavior. This is what I love taking a walk for, because it allows me to get out of my physical space and allow my mind to just kind of wander and like ask myself these questions and kind of allow, thoughts to kind of go where they may. And it's interesting what'll come up, because it will, especially when I don't know what it is about being outside and moving and just allowing that freedom there in thought. Therapy, I'm a huge proponent of, having an objective person who knows how human psychology works to have as like a sounding board and walk you through that process. So sometimes we got to do a little work before, in terms of like getting to the root of like why like self-sabotage maybe is happening, and then do something about it, right? If we really, really want those results, we might have to do some work there. Okay, that's 4. 5. This is a great one. I really love this one. It's super practical in terms of, I think everybody can do this immediately. And that's put the odds in your favor. Your environment is either going to make or break your results. Your environment is either making things easier for you or it's making things harder. And I think number 1 is just that awareness to like look at your situation and understand, there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of like sabotaging my results. So years ago, I used to teach a class, and the first week I would tell them, okay, like we're going to like set up your environment in a way that's actually going to support you. So in terms of food, that meant put the food you want to be eating a majority of the time in front of you. So buy a pretty little bowl to put all your fruit in. Yes, put it out, display it. What you see, what you focus on is what is going to actually manifest for you, right? If I'm constantly seeing fruit and veggies and, healthier options for me to snack on, that is what I will think about in terms of snacking on, right? And I tell them also, like, when you open your fridge, arrange it so that like the first things you see are the things you want to be consuming. Like just put it in your eyesight, be strategic about the fact that you are a visual person and you are getting cues from your environment all the time. So make them work for you. That's also, I believe, a strategy that comes from James Clear, Atomic Habits, making your environment actually work for you. I know there was a time I actually was leaving a pair of dumbbells over here by the couch, because I thought, the more I see them, I might actually use them. I thought, okay, well, maybe like while I'm watching TV, I could be doing like some squats and maybe some sit-ups, just something small to just get some more movement in. But like if they were never there, I'd never do it, right? And so you can do things like put out some small, exercise equipment that you can use here or there. I like to also like put out my workout clothes. In fact, I'll plan my outfits for the week. I'll put them together in outfits, not that they're not anything special, but like a shirt and shorts and a workout bra. But having them out reminds me, oh yeah, like I want to work out. And it's almost like I've made half the decision already by creating an outfit. I'll leave it out so that in the morning, all right, I'm going to work out today. Put it in my backpack. Let's go, right? Set yourself up so that you make it easier for yourself to do that. Same thing. So I would say, look at your environment where you spend most of your time. So 1, that's going to be your home. And then 2, probably your work environment. Make sure you've got things set that support the things, the habits, the behaviors that you actually want to participate in. So there we have it. 5 ways that we can increase our consistency. So let me review real quick. 1, embrace the fact that you're going to fail. That's just part of the process. And in fact, it's going to benefit you by teaching you how to make this process work for you better. So embrace failure. 2, start small. I promise you, you cannot do all the things. I did a post I think last week about how true behavior change is identity change. You're not going to change your identity in a week. So start small. And that's actually going to benefit you more in the long haul. 3, commit to the long haul and understand change is hard and it's going to take some time. So embrace the fact that like it just might take longer. But as long as you don't quit, it's going to happen. 4, get out of your own way, do what you can to kind of figure out, what really is kind of holding you back, especially if this is something you've tried multiple times. Then you want to make sure like you're kind of getting to the root of like, how come this never works for me? Like, is it the process itself? Is it the strategy? Or, am I doing something to hold myself back? And then last, put the odds in your favor. Make sure your environment is set up in a way that is actually conducive to you doing whatever this is. It makes it easier. I get it. We get home from work and we're tired. We've probably made a million decisions. And so making more decisions is not what we want to do. So just put the options you want first and foremost, have that insight and just use it to your own advantage. So keep in mind, your habits, whatever they are, they took a long time to develop. Like who you are as a person today is not because of just what you did last month or in the last couple months, right? This has been a long process. So this takes time, even developing habits, period. So reverse engineer the process. What do you need to do in order to become, this person that has the results that you want? So I hope that was helpful. I don't think I saw any what's it called, comments there. So as we are, getting ready, we're in the 4th week of January. This is where everybody's kind of falling off. And it's because change is hard. Motivation is gone at this point. So rely on some of these, put in some of these tactics because there's no reason you can't, get the results that you want. It's just a matter of, again, like reverse engineering and understanding, yourself and the process of change and making it work for you. So, all right, guys, I will see you guys again next Monday. Again, let me know if you have specific topics. I want to make this work for you guys. Happy to do that. But have a wonderful week and we'll talk soon. All right. Bye, guys.